Welcome to Elite Dangerous. So something amazing happened yesterday, and that was the first alien encounter in Elite Dangerous. Like freaking aliens. So finally, they've been teasing it for a really long time that they were going to be adding aliens in, and the closest we ever got was a crashed alien ship, or actually a couple of crashed alien ships. And it was obvious they were aliens, but we've not actually seen them in space. We've not seen the configuration of the ships or anything like that. So I had to go and find this last night, which is a unknown artifact, because this appears to be a requirement to the encounter, because they'll pull you out of your jump when you're jumping from star to star, and so far all the encounters have been with ships that have been carrying this in your cargo hold. The problem is that this thing actually corrodes your ship. Like if you take it on board, it corrodes your ship. You can get an anti-corrosion cargo bay, but it's a right pain in the ass to get. So I've just kind of risked it. So my ship is literally getting corroded while I do this. It basically randomly takes you out of jump at some point. So it took me about 10 minutes for this encounter to actually happen, and I tried to get a second encounter. I played for like another 20 minutes. I did not manage to get pulled out of jump again, but it was freaking worth it. Like, absolutely one of the best scripted events I've ever seen in the game. Really damn cool. So we'll just cut to 10 minutes ahead, and this was the jump. Now, everything looked like it was going to go fine. Charging up, no problem, and heading off to this Palladium Center. And I also don't know if you need to be in a certain area, but I decided to hang around the Palladium Sector and jump around there to see if it would happen to me. So the jump is going fine, no problems, and then something bad happens, and then you know that the aliens are about to turn up. So it's an entirely scripted event. You can't really change the outcome of it. You can't do much in it, but it's really goddamn cool. So this is what happens first. So this has never happened in this version of Elite Dangerous. We've never had anything that happens midway through a jump. So they're actually pulling me out between stars. So I'm in the middle of nowhere. So if like you were actually living in this universe, in this ship right now, you would be scared because you are now between stars. And if your systems don't come back online, you're just totally not only screwed. There's no way for you to get home. There's no way that anyone can rescue you. You are just in the void of space. So the event is exactly the same for every single person. So what you want to do to begin with is be looking up to your top left. This is where the ship is actually going to appear to begin with. And then it's probably one of the most detailed ships I've ever seen in Elite Dangerous. Like, it is just graphically amazing, and it looks incredible. There's so many moving parts on it as well. We've never had a ship that's so animated. And wow, and as you'll see, the sound design is incredible as well. And the whole thing actually opens up. You can see like its petals opening, and then it appears to potentially scan me. But I'm gonna go in depth actually in a little bit, and we'll talk about what might be happening there. And then after that, it just decides to fly off. So no idea what it's done to me, if it's just scanned me or done anything. And then its wake appears to spin the ship around as it flies away, and my systems start to come back online. So at this point, the Thargoids don't appear to be hostile, which is good for us because they appear to be able to completely shut down our vessel. We can see I'm scanning it here. I'm getting just pretty much unknown for every detail. But I did get an unknown ship signature, which might be useful for maybe the engineers or something. And then it jumps. It's gone. It leaves a wake behind as well that I can scan, and it gives me some data, but their wake technology seems to be different from humans. We can't follow them. We don't know where they're going, and it definitely looks very different. And I'm going to definitely go, and I'm going to go in depth in a little bit to actually talk about how it jumps, because it jumps very differently from any ship we've ever seen in this game. So let's go back through that encounter and have a real good look at this. So first off, we get our best view and our closest view of what we would assume is the cockpit. However, we don't even know if this thing has an actual pilot, but we can't make out any details in the cockpit. And you can see that it appears to be getting potentially thrust from these kind of ports on the kind of smaller petals, I would call them, I guess, at the back, or at least I'm assuming. The center part looks like it would be an engine, but it doesn't appear to be given any thrust at all, or at least there's no light coming out of it. And its actual turning circle doesn't look particularly good. It doesn't look like it's a very maneuverable ship. It is a large ship though. It's very big. And this appears to be a scout class vessel. And then it appears to scan us. Like, this is obviously what we're assuming it's doing. It puts out these tendrils that seem to move around, almost touching us. And then it appears to be sucking energy in. The thing about it though is that the whole ship appears to be doing this effort. Like, the whole thing appears to be either scanning us or doing something else to us. Also, the main scan seems to be coming from the cockpit, which might mean it's not actually a cockpit. It might be more of a sensor suite than an actual cockpit. But if it's a scan, it's a bloody hell of an effort for a scan. So I don't know if it is a scan. I hope it might be doing something else to my pilot that I don't know, could be changing things for the future. And then of course it moves away, and the wake of the ship actually spins my vessel. So I don't think that'll be a game mechanic. I think that's just for this encounter. But if we ever do fight these guys in combat, it'd be quite interesting if that wake of the ship, you actually have to avoid it or it spins you around. Then let's actually talk about the jump. So people have said it looks a lot like a capital class jumping, and I've gone back and I've had a look at capital class jumping, and I think this looks very, very different. You've got these kind of tendrils that come out in black around it. It looks more like it's creating some sort of rift, and I don't think it's jumping to another star. Like, I think it might be going to witch base where they may live, or it could be going to a whole different dimension. But let's talk about the actual tendrils that are coming out in front of this vessel, because those are the same tendrils we see scanning us earlier, but they appear to actually go out and open the rift, or pull the ship into the rift. So it appears to be an actual part of the FTL, and then to actually go through the rift, you can see that it actually seems to have to spin up the petals, so they seem to be part of the jump system as well. So there's a hell of a lot to this ship's jump drive that make it seem like it's an entirely different system from what the humans use. And I think it might, like I say, I don't think it's actually going to a star. I think it's going to somewhere else. And that is pretty freaking awesome. So at the moment, we don't know anything about this alien race. We know that there probably are the Thargoids, but that's about it. Now, we have seen other signs of aliens in this game that have been getting teased as well. And we've got this alien kind of ruins that have been in the game for a while now that appear to be completely separate from the Thargoids. So it could be an entirely different alien race. And their architecture seems to be very straight lines, very metallic. So I can't wait till those ships turn up in the game as well. And now, of course, we've also got the Thargoids now being introduced, which means there's a new update coming out in January for Elite, which we do know is already going to add something in that is another encounter which was broken in the current patch. So that means we're going to have more alien encounters, or potentially different alien encounters. And who knows what's going to happen next. Like, we've had this nice peaceful encounter with the Thargoid ship that can completely drain our ship of power and completely make us vulnerable. So, you know, you got to assume we're going to have combat at some point. Some commander is going to blow up a ship, and people have even tried blowing up this scout ship. But if that is indeed a scout ship, imagine what a combat specific vessel might be like. Like, the size of it could dwarf almost anything in the humans' capabilities. And, you know, do they have capital ships as well? This really could be a great change for Elite Dangerous, but the thing about Elite Dangerous is it slowly adds stuff. It teases it. It brings it in slowly and slowly. So we're probably not going to have a full-on invasion and actual space combat and things like that for a very long time. But they have been adding in really cool things, like these geezers are really cool for like flying around in your SRV, but they're extremely hard to find. And this is always the problem with Elite. Everything's always a pain in the ass. Like, it always requires some grinding. Like, I had to go off and find this artifact in order to get it in my cargo hold and then jump around in order to then at some point luckily get interdicted, or whatever you would call it, by this alien ship. And then so that, you know, the whole of that process took me like an hour to find the damn thing to begin with, and then to start jumping around and get taken out and captured by the alien. So it was a right pain in the ass to do, and this has always been the issue with Elite. Everything takes a lot of time in Elite Dangerous, and I gotta say, it was totally worth it, and it totally paid off. Like, actually seeing that alien ship for myself while flying my own ship was like, holy crap, that was sensational. And like, the ship design was sweet, the sound design was incredible. So I'm totally major props to the Elite Dangerous developers. They have made an absolutely awesome encounter, especially a first encounter with aliens, and I cannot wait till this kind of continues on and we get more and more. So super exciting for Elite Dangerous. And guys, thank you very much for watching. I will catch you next time.